I got a letter from 13-year-old Ryan from Belfast. Now, Ryan, if you're out in the crowd tonight, here's the answer to your question. No. As far as I know, an alien spacecraft did not crash in Roswell, New Mexico in 1947. And Ryan, if the United States Air Force did recover alien bodies, they didn't tell me about it either, and I want to know.
Was stürzte tatsächlich vor 64 Jahren in New Mexico vom Himmel? Fest steht, das Gerücht über eine abgestürzte Untertasse setzte das US-Militär damals selbst in die Welt durch eine offizielle Pressemeldung.
Got the telephone call from Colonel Blanchard, and in essence he told me that he had in his possession a flying saucer, or parts thereof. He told me to prepare a release with basically the information that he gave me over the phone. When it was done, to take it into community and hand deliver it to the 4 news media we had in Roswell at that time, which is what I did.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection.
I grew up in Roswell, New Mexico, the site of the first UFO crash, the alleged UFO crash. And my story is, as a result of growing up there, I was a senior in high school, just going into my senior year in 1947, when on one day the Roswell Record announced that an alien craft had crashed, and the next day changed that story and said no, the Air Force said that was a weather balloon.
So what did you think when General Ramey said it was a weather balloon? Did you believe that?
We're in 1947. When the general said it was a weather balloon, it was a weather balloon.
Doch im Juli 1994 überlegt es sich die Luftwaffe anders. Das, was in Roswell vom Himmel kam, sei in Wahrheit ein streng geheimer Spionageballon gewesen, Codename Mogul. Für das Pentagon ist die Sache damit abgeschlossen, nicht jedoch für einen seiner früheren Mitarbeiter.
The extraterrestrial himself, I always say, that's the greatest gift they gave us, and we did nothing with it. And who was in charge? I was. So that meant I did nothing with it.
Lieutenant Colonel Philip Corso. 21 Jahre lang bekleidet er hochrangige Posten beim Militär. Im Zweiten Weltkrieg als Chef der Spionage-Abwehr in Rom, später als Leiter der Abteilung Sonderprojekte beim Militärgeheimdienst. In den 50er Jahren arbeitet er beim Nationalen Sicherheitsrat der USA. 1961 wird er Chef der Forschungs- und Entwicklungsabteilung im Pentagon. 1997 bringt er seine Memoiren heraus mit dem Titel Der Tag nach Roswell.
When I was chief of the 4th Technology Division, I went to the general one day and it was agreed that we would start no projects in the Army, in our division, our area, with the money we had in the organization, on those 3 items: crop circles, mutilations, and abductions. But we would watch them. We would keep getting the reports and watch them, but start no projects, because our main objective in those days was weapons of war. But we were receiving material, so I did get 2 of the implants. The implants are real. There's other implants which I never talked about that we knew were real. And you couldn't take them in your hand because they were microscopic.
Mehr noch, in seinem Buch behauptet Corso, das US-Militär habe beim Absturz von Roswell auch Leichen geborgen, künstlich erschaffene Wesen.
He's not in the ordinary sense that we write what clones are like. Made it for another purpose, to travel in space. They want to see what space is like. They came here.
Alien-Leichen beim Militär. Die umstrittenen Aussagen des hochrangigen Ex-Mitarbeiters lassen das Pentagon nicht kalt. Noch im selben Jahr erscheint ein weiterer Roswell-Report und der Presse stellt man einen eigens produzierten Propagandafilm vor.
Please roll the video.
Misidentification of anthropomorphic dummies and experimental balloon-launched devices, combined with Air Force balloon operations portrayed as mysterious flying saucer and alien recovery teams, transformed verifiable events into what is now known as the Roswell incident. The facts presented in the reports examining the so-called Roswell incident did not reveal it to be a dark secret or government cover-up as persons unacquainted with Air Force technologies proclaim. Instead, these studies identified a collection of events that exemplify the technological leadership, dedication to duty, and continuing noble sacrifices of the men and women of the United States Air Force.
Can you help us with when the dummies were first used? What year?
53.
They're talking about 1947. Well, you're talking about dummies used in the 50s, almost a decade later.
Well, I'm afraid that's a problem that we have with time compression. And I think it's logical to assume that the people there saw Air Force ambulances come out, they saw gurneys come out, they saw body bags come out because the dummies were put in the body bags to protect them. They saw people in pith helmets. They saw people in shorts out there brushing the bushes looking for the remnants of the balloons. And when you put all that stuff together and spin it, you find that it fits perfectly with many of the occurrences in Roswell during that era.
They also said that these figures were much smaller stature than full-size adult figures. How do you reconcile that?
I don't reconcile that. I just have no idea why they say that.
How do you know that you're not being used? How do you know that you know the full story when you that there's no evidence of this?
Because our job is to review all the Air Force documents for this era. And that's how we came up with this exciting and interesting and intriguing, quite frankly, report.
Bis heute streiten sich die Gemüter, ob Corsos Geschichte über geheime UFO-Forschung im Pentagon stimmt. Auch bei diesem letzten Video-Interview zeigte der hochrangige Geheimdienstler Verständnis für die Skeptiker.
I know from my own, when I was working at this, I know that they're real, they happen. I don't think any of those people are talking can say this. They weren't cleared. They didn't get the reports. They didn't have access to them.